Well, let's cross to Melbourne now and talk more about this with Nasser Mashni. He is the president of Australia-Palestine Advocacy Network. Thanks very much for being with us. So while the efforts are continuing to try and mediate a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, Israel's Prime Minister appears determined to go ahead with plans for this ground assault on Rafah in the south, despite overwhelming international opposition as well. Why do you think that is?
Well, it's a couple of things. First, thanks so much for having me on. First, he's trying to salvage his own premiership. He knows that as soon as this war is over, he'll be indicted and thrown out. The protests that were against his government and the anti-democratic reforms will come to him for the security lapse that created the situation of October 7. More than that, Benjamin Netanyahu has been a supreme racist his entire life, as was his father. They are looking for a historic Palestine that has no Palestinians. There is no question what they've done now is make Gaza uninhabitable, wreaked a genocide and an apocalypse upon 2.2 million people trapped for the past 17 years. Gaza's uninhabitable. He's going to go into Rafah. He's going to force them to somehow, I imagine the Palestinians will break through the border at Rafah into Egypt, into the Sinai. At some point, the United States will bribe the Egyptians to accept those Palestinians, and who knows when and if any of those Palestinians will be allowed back into Gaza.
Well, he has denied those accusations, but you're saying that this is clearly his intention with this Rafah ground incursion.
Well, there's no question. We can't believe anything Benjamin Netanyahu says. This man is a pathological liar, as is the apartheid Israeli state. It goes for everything from its founding documentation of a land without people, for people without a land, through to most recently the 40 beheaded babies and the command centers under hospitals. We've seen what Israel wants to do, and what it wants is all of the Palestinian geography with none of the Palestinian demography. This is part of a plan to finish the ethnic cleansing of 1948, the ethnic cleansing, the Nakba of Palestine.
It's been suggested the announcement about the plans to attack Rafah may have been intended to put pressure on Hamas during any talks. What's your view on that?
Well, I don't accept that at all. What we need is the world to put pressure on Benjamin Netanyahu to be tried for the criminal that he is. But we also need more than the words of the United Nations that spoke about catastrophic conditions. We've got such merely words from everyone other than the South Africans and the Yemenis. We need the international community to step up and do more. The United Nations has got an army itself. We need to move beyond the Security Council and the veto that the United States keeps giving Israel, the impunity that it gives Israel, and go and stop this humanitarian catastrophe. It's past time for some country to do something. It's unacceptable. The human toll, and I'm watching the pictures there, and they're just, I mean, could anybody imagine this would be allowed to happen if the Palestinians had blonde hair and blue eyes? They're just looking the other way because the overwhelming majority of us are Muslim in the first instance, and secondly, we don't look, quote unquote, civilized like a Ukrainian.
Good to talk to you. We're going to have to leave it there. Nasser Mashni in Melbourne. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.